Bring it back. This back. Permanent. Why not, dude? Why not? Why not us? You know, after last game, feeling like we fell just behind. We didn't find the namesake card. Why not us, dude? Why not? Another one, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a mono blacklist made by Mythic Mike. He has been playing skeletons for quite a while, and that is one of the lists that I played last season that I ended up just kind of playing my casual time. One of the things about the skeleton deck in general that I like that he's built is it is definitely a deck that I feel like I can play on my phone. If I just want to play a game real quick, like a 5-minute game, it's definitely kind of that pace. So it's kind of one of those nice decks. But I have not gotten the... wow, English, flawless. Thank God I have a college degree. Wow, gee willikers. But I haven't got to play with Moonshadow quite yet. And this is a card that is a little bit awkward. I think we see a lot of people build it with this card, like that green card that's randomly there. We see a lot of people build it with this card. I do want to bring this kind of up right away. And if you don't know the synergy, we'll talk about it. So Moonshadow is a very sick thing. It's a 7/7. Kind of reminds me of like a Death Shadow. But when this creature enters, it has 6 -1/-1 counters on it. Whenever one or more permanent cards are put in the graveyard from anywhere, you take a counter off and it grows pretty quickly. And we have a lot of ways to do that, which we'll get to. But the kind of synergy is to be playing blue. To play this, because of the bottom mode, this creature becomes a copy of a target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X or less. So you can play this for 2. If it's turn 3, you can play it for 2 and then pay 1 mana. And then it just becomes a 7/7 because it's already on the battlefield. So that's one way to go about it. And I didn't quite know how good that was because we all take the streamer events with a little bit of grain of salt. They're all playing new cards. At least that's the idea, to be playing with a lot of new cards. So is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? But he put it in this list and it seems well off. There's a couple of cards that I might play over one of the cards and I'll bring that up. But we have Grimbauble, which is removal, but we can also pop it to put it in the graveyard and surveil to get extra triggers. It works well for Forsaken Miner and Bloodghast, along with Time Caller that we can play from our graveyard as well. So we got a lot of benefits there. Snarling Gorehound is a card that goes incredibly well with it. As you can see, a 1 mana to the 7/7. But of course, this enters as a 1/1. So Gorehound will actually trigger with it. So you can kind of play Gorehound on 1, play Moonshadow on 2, and then, you know, trigger this, and then maybe play a Surveillance. So this is already at 3. Oftentimes, you do want to get it over a card like Nowhere to Run, a pretty high removal spell, and if Fairies is running around, Fairy Fencing, being able to give -3/-3 for 1 mana is also a card that you want to be able to try to play around when you can. But one of the cards that he put in this list that actually impressed me probably the most was Iron Shield Elf. This is just one of those weird cards. I remember when I first started playing Standard, like Ravnica. It's not a Johnny's Pride Mate, but it was one of those cards where you could just like tap it or discard the card and tap it and it would gain Indestructible. And it was just so hard to get off the field. And this kind of fits that weird description too. And it also oftentimes is able to save your Moonshadow, but also can put your Bloodghast in the graveyard. I do miss like a combat with this where I can attack with it and then discard the Bloodghast and play the land after, and I kind of missed 3 damage. It didn't end up mattering, but fortunately enough, you know, sometimes you win some of those games and sometimes you lose them like you probably should. But the card I had questions about was this one. I get the idea here. I get the Mayhem, discard it, bring it back for 1. I just feel like we have such a strong base. I feel like this just weakens some of what our deck could be. So that's why I have this sideboard here. I talk about them a bit more in the outro and just some of the concerns I have playing Nowhere to Run and Long Goodbye to pick off like creatures with ward that might be in our way. And that's kind of what I would replace this with. But with that said, we still run very well. It still runs incredibly well. But yeah, this Mythic Mike's list is running pretty good, and I like the way it plays, so let's go ahead and show off the games. I actually don't know here. I feel like playing Moonshadow first is still correct. Because you just cheat this one in, right? Or no, you may cast this card from your graveyard using its warp. Huh. Maybe you do go Gorehound first. Because then you can grow this right away. Also, it makes it a little less vulnerable. Maybe this is wrong, but if I do rip another 1-drop or something with 1 toughness, it'll feel like the right play. And that's a pretty good example of it. It's so good, but we just have to bypass it, right? Go here. We did make one slight mistake, I think. We should have technically done a surveil before we played our land, and the reason for that is in case we would hit a Bloodghast. So, like, semi-fortunately that we didn't, so we didn't get punished for that play. But also, ooh. Okay. I mean, I still think it's grow this and do Scholar, to be honest. Tax their mana a bit here. Get in there. Basically, I have to block here. Down to 10. Now we can cast it from there, but that's okay. In worst case, they like blow up my board somehow on 3 mana, but then I can corpse, hit them for 3, go for this, and it's all gravy from there. Doing pretty good. I think, you know, playing the Gorehound first is the right call, maybe. But we also got rewarded with ripping the 1-drop. So with that, yeah, cool. We'll move on. Yeah, we keep here. We have a way to trigger this twice. Hopefully it lives, obviously. We have play land, put a permanent in, play this. It's even more than twice. Although, with that, however, I think we will be Grim Bobbling it. I think it's better to Grim Bobble Forsaken Miner here, unfortunately. We all know how good that can get with like a Shelter by Ghost and whatnot. So we'll see. And with this gone, I won't have a way to Kermit the Frog. Like, what am I on about? Kermit the Frog here. Here. Sure. Sure. Uh-huh. Are you attacking with that? I hope. Brutal. Here. I don't think we need either of those. Listen, I would say if it's a double block on my Moonshadow, I will 100% give it that indestructible. Like, I will 100% have it take out both. Because that died, it actually goes to the graveyard here. Now, could they give us flying and lifelink and gain all the life back and we lose? Yes. That is a very obvious thing that could happen. Yeah. So that's 10. Ethereal armor has to get to 9 if they want lethal. Although a Shelter by Ghost is probably lethal enough, to be fair. Can we do it? Can we Kermit the Frog here? Because apparently that is what I said earlier. There is 0 chance on this planet that they just put that there, right? And not on the thing that would just like kill us. There's just no way, right? Yeah, that's 100% in the air kills us, right? This is generically a 2/2. So it's at 7. So it would have, so we're saying that this increased it not by 5 but by 4. So this would have been 9 and killed me in the air. Sure, dude. Yes, sir. That's something we want to do, then so be it, I guess. We want to take all these counters off if we can. Not that that necessarily matters. Well, they have to block here, right? We go from losing to winning? Because they have to double block here and it's still 7, right? Unless I'm missing something. Because the thing with this is they still could have paid and put it on this creature. Maybe I'm missing like how it's not lethal, but I feel like it was. So we're still going to take it. But I just don't know how... Is it 2? They put ethereal armor on it. So you can see it's at 3 because of this. The ethereal armor is not counting for some reason. It was just at 7. So it's putting +4 on it. This is at 5. +4 is 9. It's 18. We died. We didn't have a reach or anything. Sure, I guess. Sure. All right, good. 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 2-ish and a half. Right. Blue black, this could get removed like pretty easily. Obviously, minus does get around indestructible, so we do have to be wary of that. It's something we'll have to pay attention to. Grixis could also be the thing that blows up a creature with less mana or whatever. Conduit. Put the land in. Put a counter there. Pretty nice. This here. I do want to grow this a little. I don't want to go overboard on it right now. Maybe should have discarded this. But I'm going to probably have to do that anyway here. But as we can see, it's most likely Reanimator. So obviously that puts us in a bit of a spot. We'd love for this to be like a Bloodghast more than anything. But unfortunately, that's just not what it is. What are you getting rid of? Arden here. Okay. So we have like one more turn before Arden... Unless we rip a Bitter Triumph here. No way to really commit a crime. No Bitter Triumph. Just go here. I mean, again, if this is just bring back Arden, there's not a lot I can do about it. Just not... Oh, it's Quantum Riddler to draw something here. Or maybe even flicker it, but that's okay. A land. Maybe they missed a land. Sure. Sure. Here. Here. That's 3 damage regardless, right? So this ends up getting there anyway. Sure. I tell you, it ends up getting there anyway, I think. I mean, you gotta just discard a card there, no? Is it because they are at 10, so they actually live? So we had 8 damage on board if they just Discarded a card to bitter triumph. All right. Not a perfect hand, but a hand we'll just try to keep, I think. This is more of a limit test hand if there ever was one, of course. Graveyard hate card against auras. I can't imagine we get as lucky as we did last time. Might just get ran out of the building here. Just shelter already. Can I even beat that? Not sure. No, it's just because of flying. Okay. Keep dodging shelter by ghost, which is always nice, but... Oh, Grim Bauble. Deck draw here. Let's grow this a little. Even though it's not necessarily that impressive. Grim Bauble popped a survivor. Now they have nothing on board. Hopefully, obviously for us, we want that to be their last creature, but realistically, probably not. Pretty good one. Fair is fair. That makes sense. Wow, we ripped another removal spell. I should have just popped it with the blood gas. I just didn't even think about it. But also I can save it for next turn, right? Because then I can pay the 2. But they could also have protection at that point. But they've tapped out twice. So I feel like the protection's probably not there. That has menace, so we're not worried. But I definitely should have bitter triumph, pitched the blood gas, and then played the land, brought the blood gas back, and just hit our opponent. The Corpse of Loss is obviously good as well. Sure. Sure. Will they tap out again? They do. Okay. Everybody lock in. Does have vigilance. We will get to do the blood gas play this time at least. They go to the bottom. They hit me. Obviously. So here we definitely want to do discard a card. Pop here. Discard Bloodghast. Play a land. Bring Bloodghast back. Unfortunately, they're not missing enough life total here. And I would rather take out all their creatures here because they have to double block if they want rid of this. And then their tick up on the Weaver does nothing. But they do have to be a little bit worried about the life total situation here. This is 6 damage. I have 2 mana. Would be very spicy. Fortunately, Grim Bauble's not 2 mana. It's 3. They just take it. Yeah. I decline. We have another one, so I don't really want to waste it here. They go to the bottom, and they haven't sheltered yet. So his top deck would have to be sheltered by Ghost. And that'll definitely get him back into the game. It's the only card I'm afraid of. That's one reason why I didn't want to go over the top of my removal, but I felt like I had to. You know, it's just that weird part. Yeah, they just can't beat it. All right. Yeah, those matchups are strictly going to come down. Did my opponent put a shelter by Ghost in play and protect their thing? And then, because it resets this. Whenever it enters, it gets all the counters. So if they're able to shelter, reset this, or just exile this kind of permanently and have gained life by attacking, then they were good. But I definitely missed the play to just remove this and build a lot more tempo earlier. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Well, I feel like this has to be a mulligan. Oh, man, it doesn't look much better. I mean, I think this has to be a keep and bend one of these and just hope to rip a land at some point. Getting after him. We just play the thing that just keeps hitting them, I guess. We're kind of past... Unfortunately, we're kind of past Moonshadow here. Could be a counter spell, right? Combat. Counter unless I pay 2, which is most likely what it is. If it's anything, and now we'll jam a Bloodghast. Could have actually held up my removal, I suppose. But Nowhere to run. Sure. Pick this up. Of course. So nowhere to run does beat this card. I'm jamming. Like, they have a counter spell or they don't. Here's 4. Down to 10. Sure. Right now, that won't get there in time. Combat. Let's just pass. I was thinking about this, but the counter just is so good. They take a draw. I guess it would stop them from drawing, but then they would just scry. Unfortunately, that's a tap land. What do we have for us, opponent? Other Bloodghast have haste. Other colors have haste. Bitter Triumph's fine. Obviously, we hold this now. We go to combat. Combat. Attack. Did a flash creature here. An old reliable. Nowhere to run. Sure. Sure. Uh-huh. We're going to stop them from being able to do that, is essentially what we're doing. Sure. In turn. Exile target creature. Weird that they didn't choose my Bloodghast. It doesn't give hexproof, right? Sure. They didn't take any? They didn't take any? Kind of funny. Up on top. If they mill half my deck, it's not going to be good. That's the other thing. Because then I just have all the Bloodghast. For the most part. Or the timeline colors. It just doesn't work. Unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know what they have. And again, it just doesn't, like, again, the board wipe just doesn't work. That's why the 3/1's weird to try to remove. I understand the exile gets around the indestructible, but I feel like you have to exile these because this is the thing that comes back. Even if you blow up my board, this still comes back. I guess they could deadly cover up and exile them, which is a possibility, but then this is there and I could just bring it back. So it just, the 2 creatures just don't work that well to try to beat. So I felt like you had to exile one of those. It is time. Here. Forehound. Obviously, if we rip Moonshadow off the top, that'd be fantastic. Another Bob will also do. Let's play Bloodghast because it is a little bit better here. Land can go. It's just better. It's not really better than this. It's just more mana efficient. Like, I can't do both. Am I going to have to... No, I don't. Maybe protection? Steam Rip. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one, huh? Like, what do you get rid of? The bad card or the bad card? They're both, like, kind of bad for you. We attack for 2 first, because if they were to block for some reason, then we want to be able to bring it back. Now we play Bloodghast. We play Swamp, and we Grim Bubble that boy away. I thought it was going to become a 2/3. My plan was going to have to be to double bobble it. Hopefully we get to stay away from that. Well, they played land first and they go for 2 mana here. Obviously, Badger Mole Cub is the targeting piece here. I have nothing in the bin. I can give this haste, I guess. I kind of want to play everything out and put a stop on my upkeep, right? So let's go for Grimmith Bubble. Pop here. Just in case the second Badger Mole Cub comes in. Obviously can't really afford to beat that. I feel like my opponent's also playing Collector's Cage. So that's kind of my concern here. We'll put a stop here, please. And we'll probably end up popping this Grim Bobble depending what happens. Because if I lose both my Blood Gas to some type of board wipe. Oh. Interesting. Still think I'm doing this though. And we know why the land's there. For this exact moment. I think I can stack these triggers, I believe. Could ask me. I want to resolve the surveil. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because even if it's another Blood Gas, it doesn't do anything. Now I definitely don't want another land, but I do want to bring this back. The thing with this is I think they gain life. No, they don't gain life. Why do I feel like it gains life every time? I feel every time it gains life. But now they're getting that point of their board's going to get huge and I just won't have enough to get through, unfortunately. So they can play this twice, so they're going to get to put 4 counters everywhere. Just too slow, I guess. I mean, I end up keeping a land on top. There's 3 in my graveyard and 4 in play, so I feel like I flooded quite a bit. If we're being kind of serious about it. Because I would put a stop here is kind of my only plan. Now they can activate the loom. Solve. Yeah, I think this game's just over. I'm moving on. That's a tough one to lose. All right. Interesting hand. We'll keep. Just because we get to go like shadow, bobble, I guess. And if we ripped a guy that can be discarding cards, we can always discard the Blood Gas as well. Okay. Let's go Gorehound first. Land, play other shadow. All right, it sucks to have to get rid of one, but come on, we have to like get moving, right? See a green, assume it's Badger Mole Cub. Always, you just have to get going. It's Badger Mub Cub. Oh, like I can't set all 4 of them. Why not? Why not me? Smile. All 4 Cubs and a Blood Gas. I'm gonna hurl. I'm gonna do it. I am going to throw up. Play land. Bring it back. This back. Permanent. Why not, dude? Why not? Why not us? You know, after last game, feeling like we fell just behind. We didn't find the namesake card. Why not us, dude? Why not? Why not all 4 copies that I couldn't find in my other games? Why not? You know, why not us? Why not? I think I want more damage, weirdly. Without the shadow guy, I think I want more damage, especially if I do curl into like some other good stuff. Now I'll obviously play this into this. One more land is kind of acceptable here. So, but do I take this just in case of another land? Probably not, right? There's too many 2-drops and stuff, and hitting another land after that land would just be too bad. New Overgrown Tomb. It was kind of hard to tell sometimes with the Overgrown Tomb what is exactly the art's going for. Sometimes, not always, obviously. More just bad cards. I think it's Reanimator. Sure. I just don't know what Reanimator pile yet. Sure. Huh. So nothing good, thankfully. Elemental. So this is the one that, okay, sure. Now, of course, by all means, I would love to have that land. I think, do I keep it this time? Unfortunately, I think I do. Can't pay for that, but that's one of the reasons to keep the land for the next couple of times around. 1, Bitter Triumph being good. 2, Grim Bauble happening. I can Bitter Triumph while also bringing the Forsaken Miner back. Our opponent in a weird spot. Also, this is really, really vulnerable to getting removed this turn. Not a whole lot I can do about it, so I didn't feel like committing to this was too terribly good. Obviously, I would love to remove this land off and then like go without hitting one. But this is probably what? Bringer? Sure. Yep. And that's why that deck is going to be one of the most consistent annoyances that we can play against. And it's not particularly close. So how do I beat this? I could just Grim Bauble this and attack. 2 of my creatures have menace, so it doesn't matter anyway. Or they reanimate it and I just start popping everything. They're only going to get 2 things back, I guess. I mean, I might as well attack with everything. Because, again, I'd much rather my stuff come back. If they want to go for, like... If they want to go for reanimate for this board state, then sure. I'll just use my removal the best I can. I will pop the Bauble to see if I can't put any creatures in my graveyard. What mode? Oh, Mana Cement, blue. Draw 2 and then discard. Okay, we're actually kind of getting what we want, though. Where they don't feel confident in their graveyard, so they're kind of looking to build up more. There's an Arden, which is a very good card. Another Speaker. Sure. If they attack. No, they don't. I would say I don't expect them to attack here. Here. Discard. Of course, auto pay to bring 1 back. Unfortunately, we want as many counters on this shadow as we can get. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. We do not want to bring this back. This is a decline 100%. Wowie, gee willikers. We get there. Very sick. Kind of got a little... I don't know if it's fortunate because if they go for it and I remove it, which I had kind of good removal to do it with, then what do they have after that? But thankfully, they didn't go for it and they played another creature, which in their shoes I feel like is also pretty solid of a plan. Like I felt like that's actually okay. But we end up getting out of it. Very nice. All right, I feel like this is a really good hand, right? Turn 1, turn 2, play. If I have another swamp, I might play swamp depending on like what I need to do. But it might just be like grow this to 3 and hope that's enough. I just keep thinking of a card like Fairy Fencing. Now, obviously, I played blue-black. I did see it do well. Oh, life gain's going to be tough. Maybe. Get a Gorehound. I say maybe. It's obviously going to be a tough one, but... Man. I really do just have to pop this, don't I? Surveil here. Unfortunately, we leave that lane on top. So I'm not, like... that broken up about it at least. Get that out of the way. But hopefully after this turn we can start kind of cooking. Sure. And I have the removal, right? Like I have all the removal in the world. Kind of do this. Just in case we hit the card. I keep wanting to play my lands out in turn order, but we always want to make sure if we hit a Bloodghast that we're good. I kind of want this, but I think we kind of know how our turns are going to be going from here. So I'd much actually rather grow this, I think. Because again, it's not really going to do much on its own. Right? One here. We go for Bitter Triumph next turn. Like, or at least on their turn. But again, this right now is not going to do much, but if they try to shelter it and I could pop it in response, then obviously we feel much better. Respond to Angel number 2. Sure. If I want to discard, I'll just pay 3 life here. I don't really want to get rid of anything right now. Because again, they do play smaller stuff, and here's like a good example to get rid of something later. Combat. Still in the same boat, right? Like, just sit here, chill, use Better Triumph when I have to. Answer the Lyra Dawnbringer or whatever's to come. Another creature controlling is flying in lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gain life this turn, sure. It's a 4/4, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. Am I flashing this in? Or am I popping this? Maybe I am popping this. Maybe I'm getting rid of this. Or I could just do that, I guess. Bennett. You want this to grow here. And that's one of the reasons you Bennett, right? You just have to make sure you're good. You're at 15, so not enough to really boast about. Go to combat. Awesome. This is exactly what we want. So obviously in their mind, they're like, you know, I get to take that out, but we get to obviously Grim Bobble this now. I think here, because this has haste, I'm looking to pop a Bobble. Haste, sure. Every creature entering will gain 2. Because of this. So unfortunately, the thing kind of goes away. I will take another Bitter Triumph, thank you. I guess. There's just no blocks that are able to be done here, so I guess I just play this. Trigger here. Don't need that, really. Here's the thing, right? They can go to combat, and they'll gain 2/4 life. Oh, it's only creatures? Oh, wait, I can't cast spells during their turn. Duh. I guess it didn't matter. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, for whatever reason, I was... Aye, Captain. One drop. I mean, this hand's just good, right? At least it feels like it should be good. Feels a lot better than what it just previously did. I think I'm going for tempo here as fast as I can. Land rip. We play corpse, and with blood gas coming back, that's going to be a very nasty turn. Ooh. I feel like I played this person already once today. 3 damage to any target. Getting me empty-handed, I guess, but, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. And here it is. It's all we can do. Down to 15, down to 5 from like what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 from 16. I meant to say down from 15 to 5, but it wasn't 15, so I ended up just saying something dumb. I mean, yeah. For 1. Sure. Up to 5. No chance. Domination. No chance. I guess this had menace, yeah. So it didn't really matter. But 1 game away. One game away. I do respect what they're doing. They are playing some cool stuff here with this vibrance and stuff like that. I wonder if they're playing a thing that flickers this. Or maybe not Undying necessarily, but no, I think that card's a sorcery. Splash Portal? I think that's a sorcery, but I'm not sure. Okay, so unfortunately we did not end up hitting Mythic, and I do think my opinion on this card is just true. I think this card, unfortunately, is just too bad. It's like the deck, to me, is already really efficient. Having this to go along with this or this is okay, but I just feel like one of our matchups that we can just make better is either one, play Nowhere to Run, which is another one of those permanents that maybe we should be playing so we can get around Ward, because there was so many times that Shelter by Ghost was just a card that I just couldn't beat. So either Nowhere to Run or Long Goodbye would be, or Goodbye. So I would either look to play these in its spot, but with the permanence things mattering, I could definitely see Nowhere to Run being the better card in this spot. So, and the reason is I just think the Ward's too hard to beat. I just think in general, if we're able to do that and then Bitter Triumph it, or combine Nowhere to Run with a Bauble, 5, -5, feels like it should be able to get there, and a protection spell just doesn't blow us out, which feels pretty good. Whereas I felt like this card, I just, like, there were turns that I felt like I wanted to crack the Bauble over playing a creature, and at 3 mana with Flash, I feel like that just can't happen. Even at 1 mana, it is cool and it does kind of work, but it's also legendary, which doesn't really ever come up when there's 2 of them, because you're just realistically not to find both. But we know how Arena is. You play a 1-of, you'll have it in your opener most of the time, it feels like. So it's just, I don't know. This is just the only card I don't feel great about. I do feel like not playing mini skeletons does make Corpse a little less desirable, but it's so good. It's such a good card. Not that I would cut it, just more that I might play an extra skeleton or 2 to go with it and kind of have that synergy. But skeletons in general just aren't strong enough because of just how they work, right? So with that said, I mean, it worked incredibly well for a very long time until it just didn't. But that's just one of those things that happen. You get your good matchups in a row, and then you kind of run into some bad matchups that are kind of catered to only answer creatures and just lose to other decks. For example, there was one where our opponent is just never beating a control matchup, but they're going to beat most of the creature decks. And we've had that opinion before as well, where we're like, okay, well, control is a very finite amount of the decks. We'll just auto lose to them, but we're going to make sure that when we play a creature deck, we beat them 70% of the time, right? And that just happens. It's just a thing you have to do and thing you have to play against. And when it happens, it happens. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. And you run well. So with that said, I do think we won more games than we probably should have, because I do think my opponent a time or two punted, but I could be wrong. It's one of those things that when I edit back, like I'll see if they actually did or not. But who's to really know? So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video regardless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.